Hey, what's up? It's Joseph Rothschild, aka Mono Bluetron. I'm back again for another episode of 10-minute testing where I show you a deck and 3 games in under 10 minutes. Let's go to the deck edit and see what we've got cooked up for you today. This is Prediction Princess Subterrors, in stark contrast to the deck I was playing yesterday, Prediction Princess Shadows. If you're not familiar, the purpose is to get out Terratai by using pre-preparation of rights, send Pot of Taboos or some other big flip effect monster, and then Monster Reborn it at the end of the turn. It's okay, but has a problem with monsters that float. This deck aims to end that problem by playing Umastrix, who banishes a card, which is slightly better than Regeki. I have replaced almost all the Shadow stuff with Subterror things. We now have 3 Stalagmo, 3 Umastrix, 3 Warrior, 3 Hidden City, and 3 Terraforming. We've gone up to 3 Spirit of the Tailwind because we have so many more flip effect monsters, 2 Pot of Taboos to compensate, and 3 Coin Roma for the same reason. We also found room for Pot of Cupidity, which is actually the new best card in the deck. I think the old version of the deck might be infinitely helped by playing this card and might become the better version. In the extra deck, we've got 13 cards, I think. There might have been 15 at one point, and I erased a couple. This is just anything we could ever want. It's a bunch of 4-drops, and also Ether Blanier. I have no idea what this card does, and I guarantee I will never summon it in a million years. So let's get to the games. So, in case you don't know, this was a deck in flux. What I showed you was the final version of the deck. I waffled on copies of Pot of Taboo, so you may see me have 3 in hand at one point. Our open is pretty bad. It's got 2 Pot of Cupidity. We're only playing 2 because we actually don't want to see this thing occur right here. We can't actually afford to do it twice because we search so much. Aside from that, we don't have a lot, but if we get a combo piece off of Pot of Cupidity, we can make things occur by getting the 10-star guy with Terraforming. And we're playing against some terrible deck. I have no idea what this is. It's awful. You 1 day of pieces, use Red Spinter to summon Creation Resonator, goes into Moonlight. I can't actually beat Moonlight, so I figure I'll have to engineer some way to get over it. I use Terraforming, use Pot of Cupidity, draw Preparation of Rights, and then Prediction Ritual into Terratai. Unfortunately, Moonlight Dragon works so that he can get rid of it. I chain Terratai's effect, but he chains Solemn Strike, so I can't even try to beat over Moonlight Dragon. I use Hidden City to get a Subterror, and I believe I set Nemesis for you. Yeah. He sets some card that does nothing and attacks with Moonlight. I use Subterror City's effect to negate the attack. I draw nothing. Use Prediction Ritual to get a second copy of Terratai. Use Manju to get the Ritual, and then I make 101 and take Moonlight. Then I normal summon or Ritual summon Terratai and beat over him. In the end step, I special summon the guy who vanishes. He is in my hand, which is unfortunate because I want to be getting it from the grave, but whatever. He draws hot nothing. I don't know what the E-Telly does in this deck. Truthfully, I couldn't tell you what this deck is that he's playing, but I assume it's just not very good. This proves that the deck is at least somewhat potent at dealing with really bad rogue strategies with no direction or way to win. So immediately after playing against that terrible deck, we're playing against Domain Monarch, which is just about the worst thing I would ever like to see. This is a terrible matchup for us, despite the fact that we don't go into our extra deck a whole lot. It still sucks to have to beat over 2,800 guys that I actually can't beat over. I'll have to flip him face down, if anything, and it looks like he's playing cards like Vanity's Fiend that make it even harder for me to win. On top of that, we've really bricked. Unless we draw something good off of Upstart Goblin, we really don't have any plays except set Coin Roma and pass. We get to go first. We Upstart Goblin, get Manju. That's half the battle, but it doesn't matter because we don't have the other half, so we set Coin Roma and pass. When he activates Pantheism, I know that things are looking pretty bad, and I figure if he reveals a Erebus, I'm basically dead because he can shuffle Coin Roma, and then I'll never be able to do anything ever again. He does reveal Erebus off of Tenacity, and then March of the Monarchs, so I can't even beat over a 2,800 guy, even if there was a world in which I get out Terratai. He Stormforth, so he doesn't even have to shuffle it, then plays turn in Adios, makes Erebus, destroying my Coin Roma before it can get its flip effect off. He doesn't care enough about Hidden City and picks random from hand and spikes the Manju, so now there's absolutely no way Terratai is making an appearance in this game. This feels a lot like the One Punch Man episode, where like it turns out that the Subterrors are just a bunch of goofy guys in a suit after Saitama has this like really cool dream about them being the final things that can challenge him or something like that. He's just going through the motions here, and I don't really want to play it out after I see the Aether. I realize he can set up an OTK no matter what, and there's no reason for me to keep playing, so I stop. We're now playing against what appears to be Armed Dragon Turbo. He at least has one good card in the deck. I understand this. Like, if it's a Card of Demise deck, you play Card of Demise, normal summon Armed Dragon, and then you have all these stun traps and battle traps to prevent them from getting to Armed Dragon. That means you can go into level 5, which is almost a playable card, but it has no built-in protection, so it's not great. As always, we've bricked. Bricking seems to be an inevitability with the Subterror build of this. I guarantee there were more games like this where I lost to worse decks because I couldn't get out of a brick. We draw Terratai, and then we get to use Manju to make Terratai. He chains Maxi, but I figure whatever, what's he going to draw? More armed dragons. He banishes Terratai. I chain Terratai's effect because I'm afraid if he has a battle trap, then during his standby he gets to tribute armed dragon. So I flip it face down, I flip my guy face up, and then get in for 18. He doesn't have a battle trap. In fact, I think he has a level down. What the heck? He draws level 5, which basically tells you all you need to know about playing an armed dragon deck. I banish Prediction Ritual to get Terratai, or Coin Roma because I think I'm off the Terratai plan. Then I get Hidden City and another Nemesis Warrior in order to push for damage. I don't have enough to Cowboy for lethal, so it doesn't matter. He draws Metaphys Armed Dragon. I guess he could have sent that off of trade-in, but didn't really want to play this one out and quit the game. We're back with the deck. This solved absolutely none of the problems that the original deck had. I guarantee you I played maybe 15 games with this and showed you the 3 most interesting. Many of them were just bricks into the sun that I couldn't get out of, or games that were against people who were even worse than the Armed Dragon Turbo player. This is not the best build of the deck. The Subterrors were incredibly underwhelming. Nemesis Warrior's effect was almost never useful. It was in a couple of games, but those games I was either winning anyway or I was doing it to not die, and it didn't prevent me from not dying. Flip effect monsters are inherently bad because you have to flip them up, and there's so many things that spin cards or banish cards while they're face down in the format. I really do think that you have to be playing Pot of Taboos or nothing. I think Pot of Cupidity was incredible, and I would love to play it in the original version of the deck with Shadal's in it, but it certainly doesn't do anything extra in this build that it wasn't doing already in the other one. The only positive is that Terraforming and Hidden City means you cycle through your deck a lot faster, but when you're cycling into these nothing monsters that do nothing, it's not particularly good. I've seen people talk about cutting Pot of Taboos from the list in order to facilitate better hands, but then the things you can do on your opponent's turn are like flip up a guy to banish things and absolutely nothing else. This card, you discard a card and draw 2 cards. That's not particularly potent on your opponent's turn, and everything else is just basically blah at best. So I guess I would say this deck was an abysmal failure, and I would not want to try it again. And that's time. We actually had a lot left. This was pretty decisively not very good. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you didn't, I'm sorry. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, it'll really help me out once I decide to quit my job doing nothing at home all day and decide to do nothing at home all day on YouTube. If there's anything you'd like to see me play in future episodes, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm going to play whatever I like, which it looks like is going to be Burgastorm of Volcanics tomorrow. I'm excited to lose with that against a whole bunch of decks that make Black Rose Moonlight Dragon as well. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.